of network marketing. He's already, been in a company and, was able to hit the top position and build large organizations. But imagine hitting rock bottom. Imagine hitting rock bottom and having to start all over again. And imagine starting all over again and then having to start all over again. And then starting all over again and then having to start all over again. See, I got to understand, if you really want to be a real, 6 and 7 figure income earner in this industry, for those of you that's one of your dreams, I'm sorry to tell you this, but when you lead, you bleed. When you lead, you bleed. And not only when you lead, you bleed, but you got to build this thing like 6, 7, 8, 9 times. See, some of y'all think you build it one time and you just sit back and be on vacation. Nah, it don't work like that. That ain't how it work. That ain't how it work. It's like anything else. It's always transformation and change taking place. Nothing stays the same. So I'm sorry if you thought that you just hit 20,000 a day or 20,000 a week or 20,000 a month or 20,000 a year and you just thought it was going to coast and you good. No, it don't work that way. You got to know how to dust yourself off and try again. And this gentleman right here, I'm going to tell y'all something. And I want him to tell the story. But I want to bring on to the line someone who I believe is, I like to call him, I'm going to give him a new name. He the comeback kid. Because to do what he has done and to come back and to do it all over again and again and again and again, man, is amazing. And so I want to bring on global, one of the first men. I think, is he the first man? The first man, right? Okay, the conversation? Man, I think you're the first man. Chris Brown, the second man on Candid Conversation. I need to play this for you one more time, real quick. Hold on. Hold on, one more time. You hear it?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Man. First of all, welcome to Candid Conversation. Like, we gonna have a candid conversation. I'm gonna turn off these comments, so we don't really care what they're talking about right now. It's me and you talking. We just letting the world hear and see and listen and hopefully learn. Hopefully they look, listen, and learn so they can make a decision if they're gonna lead themselves to the promised land or they're gonna lead the company all together. At the end of the day, that's my new life philosophy, Jason. I look, listen, and I learn. And then I lead or I lead. Regardless of what it is, I respect what it is. I'm going to look, I'm going to listen, and I'm going to learn. And then I'm going to lead or I'm going to lead. And either way it goes, I'm not mad if I lead and I'm not mad if I lead. Right. Because at the end of the day, our purpose would always find us if we're seeking and we're looking for it. And I know that I'm in my rightful place. I know I'm in my assignment, and I know I'm on purpose, and I know that you know the very same thing. And I believe that's why we were always connected. I believe that pain is an amazing connector. Nothing and nobody can connect people together like pain. You can smell kindred pain from a mile away. You can smell kindred spirits from a mile away. You can smell them from a mile away. You can smell the fake. You can smell the phony. But those people that have those kindred spirits and those kindred pains, they always seem to find a way to find each other. And if you're supposed to be in somebody's life, right, you will always find a way. As you always say, I was calling you and didn't even know you. Even know you, never met you. As a matter of fact, first of all, you look so good. Man, do you mind, first of all, I need you to tell them, how old are you, man? Please tell the people, how old are you?
53, Stormy, I'm 53.
Jason L. Scott is 53 years young. First of all, I don't know if it's in your genes or is it NutriBurst. I don't know if it's in your genes or is it NutriBurst. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the products, the CBD, but you look amazing, Jason. First, thank you so much for being here. But you got a story. You got a really amazing story, and your story is going to impact so many people. And I just hope and pray that you're willing to be transparent today. I was telling everybody before you came on that when I first met you, network marketers just have a posture about themselves. And when I first met you, you was a network marketer. I look at you now more as a person, but when I first met you, you came to me as a network marketer. But if you don't mind, take us back before network marketing. Like, who are you? What did you do? How come you're so positive all the time, so faithful, so just aggressive, so consistent? Like, you don't know how to quit. That's what I'm looking for. You don't know how to quit. So take us back. Where you get all of that from?
Yeah. Well, it really goes back, Stormy, to a lot of what we always talk about. We talk about our past. We talk about where we come from. We talk about the things that we start up as kids. And I'm telling everybody all the time when I do my conversations and I talk, I'm always telling people, I'm like, listen, I understand where you at, because I grew up in the projects in New York myself. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in that process. But my earliest memories that I have was talking to my mother back in the days, and when I was a kid, and my mother told me back in the days that I was born like with a hole in my heart. And when I was born with a hole in my heart, I put her into a coma. So for like the first 7 days, I was on my deathbed, she was on her deathbed. So I was like connected to my mother, because they thought we both were going to die in that first week. So that connection helped extend to years later how I show up even today in my life. And I'm gonna tell you about that a little bit later on. But that was my first thing that kind of put me to this thing that helped me understand that from day one, it's like something was trying to stop me from being here. The opposition was trying to stop me from pushing. Opposition was trying to stop me from being here. It was almost as though I was set not to be here, because I was on my deathbed from the first week that I was born. So that process and hearing that from my mother when I was a kid always made me feel different. And even being in the hood, man, I grew up in the project, but my parents was from like South Carolina. So being from South Carolina, they had like some old school type of styles. There was about family, even though you could be in the hood and people, everybody's a combatant. My mother, my dad, everybody else being from the country, man, they really had a different way of how they even showed up. And because in the summertime, I would go down to South Carolina, and I had a chance to see a different side of the hardcore. Everybody never smiled. Everybody was looking like this, but that's how you got to be in the project. You got to be that way. Everybody's combatant. You know what I'm saying? And I was used to walking out the door. Every looking at my black people, they're combatant. Looking at cops, they're combatant. Whites are combatant. So all this other stuff in my years of looking and understanding that everybody was always combatant, I just never really liked the way I was feeling about that. So as a kid, even though I grew up on welfare, and my mother's on welfare, I always had it to where I wanted to be able to do something to help. We had kids, we had family members, all this other stuff, man. And I grew up in a town, Stormy, like I said, being 53 and growing up during the time when people hear the Bronx hit the same day as it was back then. Back then, when people Google and watch YouTube videos of when the Bronx was on fire, back in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, when everything was torn down and the Lambo was burning all the buildings down to try to stop everybody, because they were trying to get out there. They didn't want to be being landlords no more. Everything was like demolished. It was like being in Beirut when I was growing up as a kid. Drug needles, all this other stuff. But I grew up in a town when, like nowadays, people say they're on welfare. They say, I'm on EBT. And you can go to the store and say EBT and you swipe your card and nobody knows. Right. I'm talking about the days when this is food stands for me, girl. You know what I'm saying? This is the old school.
I remember that.
Back in the day. You remember this?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Right? Come from this.
Wow. I need me one of those. God, I need one of those.
I remember you said that before when I told you, and I keep this as remembrance from this, like the last one that I had, as remembrance where I come from. But Stormy, for all my life, man, I've been going through a lot of challenges. Like, so what made me who I am today, man, because since I was a kid, man, all my life was like the opposition was after me. Something was trying to stop me. I remember I was a real, like one of the marks I have on the top of my head is because I was a kid. I fell it, and when I was in South Carolina, I fell running towards my grandmother, about 3 years old. I remember I fell, I almost hit my face. But I put my head down, I burned my head at the top, so I got this scar. So every time I'm touching my head, I'm thinking about that. I remember I got hit by a car when I was a kid, 6 years old. And I remember at that point, I'm like, man, things are always trying to stop me in my process. I remember falling down the stairs and they take me to the doctor in the hospital, and they're like, yo, he's supposed to die because he should have, for the way he fell down the stairs, but I still got through that. I remember leaving, even when I was like about 12 or 13 years old. I'm playing outside, me and my friends playing. And I fell off of well, I was at like 20 feet, knocked myself unconscious. The doctor was like, yo, you should have died and stuff, man, because I've been going through this process of like all these things happening. Even when I went to the Army at 19 years old and stuff, man, I went to the Army, back home, figuring out I'm trying to get away from the hood, get away from all this other stuff, man. Going to the Army, going back and forth, driving up the highways. Every time I turn around, I remember going to New York like 90 miles an hour. Wheel falls off. Wheel fall off the car. Trucks moving out the way and stuff. I'm skidding, crashing up on the side of the road and stuff. Could have died in that right there. I'm driving another time As I'm going up in the highway, I get to the toll booth, I hit the brakes go out, I fly through the toll booth. The car, I'm blowing the horns, the car get out the way, I flew through there, and I'm like, man, I would have, if I hit the back of the car or the concrete thing, something always is happening. Just like a lot of other people, there's always things that either are after you or God is stressing you in that process, and I get it and I understand it. So because I come from the, yo, son, what's going on, family? How you doing, man? Yo, you good, man? Yo, how you feeling, man? I come from all of that. But as a kid, I'm like, man, I want to speak in articulate tones. That's why when you was like, you a networker, I'm like, yo, I studied for years to be another version of myself. The other side of myself that already been shot with a 45 caliber gun, but somebody shot me in the back, tried to murder me. Already been thrown in jail for a murder charge. Already got arrested for a rape charge because I fired somebody from a job and she called the cops and said he tried to rape me, only for me to go to court for them to find out she does every person she ever had gotten. Every time she got fired, she would call somebody and say they tried to rape her. So they threw it out because of that right there. I already have been through all these challenges. I've been in foreclosure since we've been doing this. Since I've been in this industry, I've been in bankruptcy. I was in foreclosure twice. I'm in the house, seeing the people outside, like about to bid on the crib. At the last second, I was like, man, I was able to pull it off and not get myself out the house. Been through that process as well. So people who tell me I've been through foreclosure, I've been through bankruptcy, I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been shot, yeah, I know. I've been stabbed, yeah, I know. I've been arrested, I know. I've been in jail, yeah, I know. I get it. I've been there, done that, and those things, Stormy, is why going through those processes and knowing I've been falsely accused of murder, I've been falsely accused of rape, I've been falsely accused of. That's why a lot of times I'm a little more reserved around people, because at the time of me giving and loving and helping people, something will always come back and try to shut me down and stop me. I mean, I'm like, so that's why I can kind of be around everybody. I'm kind of like watching and not talking. Because I've been through giving and loving and trying to help people, and still things always coming back to try to stop me and trying to hurt me. So therefore, when I'm around, a lot of you think I'm just trying to be an ass on time, but I'm like, yo, I want to be about the people, but sometimes the people can try to hurt you. The people can try to destroy you. So that's why I show up the way I show up. Wow. That's why I show up as a leader. That's why I show up, because I want to be able to make a mark. I want to be able to make my mother proud. I remember I used to say, Mom, one day I'm gonna set you free. One day I'm gonna give you money, let you travel the world. One day let you have a great time. And my mother, she was like, yeah, baby, I'm ready. I'm here. I'm always gonna be here. And I remember she saying that to me, right? And I remember we had her 60th birthday party, and that was in December. In February, I was about to go speak to like a group of people that I had. Me and Walker, we had a group back in the days. It was called Unity back then. Called You and I Together Yes and stuff, right? We about to go speak to these people. And I got a phone call. My mother was like, hey, baby, what's going on? Hey, Mom, I'm about to go do this. I'm about to do my thing, girl. What's going on? I said, boy, about to do his thing. About 1,000 people here to listen to me speak. She was like, well, I got to go to the hospital tomorrow. I finally got to have emergency surgery. I'm like, wow, what's going on? So, I got cancer in my stomach and my intestines and my liver. I'm like, girl, I'm coming right now. I said, don't worry about it. Your sister said, I said, girl, you crazy. I don't got to call my boss. I work for myself. I said, I'm coming. But I watched my mother go from being that healthy woman and stuff, man, and all for the entire next several months going back and forth, leaving from North Carolina back to, so she moved from New York down to South Carolina, going to South Carolina to get with her and go through the chemo and go through the stuff, and I'm watching her. And sometimes I'm outside the room when they're trying to put the same needle in the same thing, and she's screaming, and I'm outside the room trying to cover my tears, because I'm like, so when I'm thinking about these things, I'm grinding because the night before she passed away, man, I was like looking at her and I'm like, I said, Mom, I promise you I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep on doing something. I'm going to do something amazing for our family. I'm going to build a legacy. I'm going to build something amazing. I said, hear what I'm saying to you? And she was in my arms and she was like, so I tell people when I be moving, I'm moving because I made a promise to my mother that I will always empower my people, Stormy, and that means something to me. But let me tell you this. To all the people who make these promises and you don't make your promise your word, you make your promises and you say that's your why and things like that, what really keeps me locked onto that promise, Stormy, is when I told my mother, I said, Mom, I'm gonna do this, but something happened to me. I went from being this energetic ball person to where I had I was like the pilot light. I was barely on. So I was depressed for like 2 years, and for 2 years I couldn't move. You know, I got nine kids. I got 7 grandkids now, right? So for 2 years I couldn't move. For 2 years I was depressed. I went from being successful to on the bread lines with my kids, picking up food on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays and stuff from the churches to feed them. And I remember 2 years the day my mother died. So I'm like calling out, like, Mom, I'm sorry. I promise you I was going to do this. I promise I'm going to take care of my brothers and sisters. She wasn't concerned about me doing all the stuff I said I was going to do. All she wanted me to do was to take care of my younger brother and my younger sisters, right? And I was so depressed for 2 years, I couldn't take care of myself and my own family. And I left them to just figure life out. I left them just to figure it out. And after like 2 years, and I'm like calling out and telling my mom, Mom, I'm sorry. I know I told you I was going to do this. I know I told you I was going to help everybody. I know I told you I was going to build something big. I said, I'm sorry, I'm about to get busy. And I got busy that day. That was like in December, and I started working at the first of the year. And I called my brother. It was like mid-year, and I said it was like right before, it was like after Memorial Day, it was like in October, November, right? And I called my brother. I said, listen, bro. I said, I'm going to come and get you. It was like September, October. I said, come and get you. I'm going to take you around with me. I'm going to show you what I do. I'm going to come here like, yo, brother, I've been waiting for you, man. I've been struggling. I said, I know, man. So I told Mom I'm not going to be there. I said, I promise I'm coming to get you. And I called Smith. I'm like, yo, bro, I got to get myself together. I said, I got an opportunity to do some stuff. I'm coming. I'm going to help him. I'm going to go get my brother, let him travel around with me. And I went and I told Smith I'm gonna get a hotel, because something like I'm doing right now. I get a room. I'll plan things out for months at a time. And I said, I'm gonna get a room and I'm gonna plan. And Smith said, Walter, he said, let's go to New York, man. Let's go to New York for the weekend. I said, yo, I can't, because I gotta really put this stuff in place, man. Because like, let's take a day just to kind of detox before we get busy. I'm like, all right. So we left that evening. We drove to New York. As soon as we check into the hotel, I get a call from my sister. My sister's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? I said, hey, I just got a call that Jody drowned at the beach and stuff. So my younger brother that was waiting for me to come back, that I told him that I was going to come, that I was going to be there for him. I told my mother that I was going to take care of him. He drowned at the beach in South Carolina. And since that day, it did something different to me.
Wow.
That's why I don't stop. That's why I keep going. That's why I keep trying. That's why I keep pushing. That's why I keep it. Because I don't want somebody else to know what it's like to not keep their promise, to not keep their word, to not do what they say they're going to do. So every day I work as though somebody has to pay their bills. I don't stop. Even when my go to college, I'm like, somebody got to pay their rent. Somebody about to be evicted. Somebody about to, and I go to work like that because I know that not keeping my promise, not doing that, man. Even though I do my best not to think about it, it still pains me, because that's the one thing that I can't get back that promise. So therefore I keep a promise that I do, and that's why I move the way I move and stuff. So that's why when I called you years ago in this process, I've been building teams and stuff, and you know what I'm saying, and the company I was with they changed the compensation plan, they changed the product, they changed everything, and my money changed. My money went backwards. Of course, when I called you, I'm telling my assistant, like, now this is the deal. I knew you from years prior. I knew you from Organo Gold. I knew you because I was up becoming a leader in Organo Gold, and one time you did an event in Philadelphia. I drove to Philly, and and you know me, I do like a lot of quotes and stuff. And at that time, you was in front of the room, and you were like, let the people speak. And when I spoke, I did one of my quotes that I did. You was like, oh, yeah, whatever he said. And you went on, and everybody started laughing and stuff, man. So since that time, I've always known you. I spoke with you that one time years ago. So since that time, you've always been on my mind at different times. Wow. So when I was in the other company, but when things are changing, you just kept popping in my mind and stuff. And I'm like, why she keep popping in my damn mind? So I remember from way back, but I don't know her. And you kept popping in my mind. You wasn't displaying on social media or nothing. And then people I had trained in another company, had came to TLC and they had called me. They were like, hey, Mr. Scott, I just want to thank you because they had left the company, came to TLC. I was like, I want to let you know that what you trained me on, I came to TLC, me and my team, we make $100,000 in 6 months from your training and stuff. And thank you so much for that. Now, they've come and gone since that time. But since that time, that put me on a scale for knowing what TLC was. At the time, but then I was still doing okay when TLC first launched. But 6 months later, nah. So that's when I told my assistant, I said, listen, I said, do me a favor. I said, find Stormy Wellington. I said, something about my energy, I should keep ringing in my head. See, this is the thing, Stormy. I tell people all the time, I said, you got to learn to pay attention to the subtle nuances that most people overlook. Most people ask God to order their steps, order their way. They ask, give me a hedge of protection. Like Gandhi said, when you're fighting for a just cause, the right people tend to pop up, materialize. And when you kept popping up in my head, because these don't just be quotes for me, these be way of life for me. Some things that are quotes, people affirmation, they seem as quotes, but I say them so I can live them, so I can remember them. That's what they are. Because
you better say it. You better say that.
Because I understand this. I understand that what we say, people hear power, life, and death is in the tongue, but people understand when you're talking, you're spelling. So if people hear spell, incantations, affirmations, it's all the same stuff. So when you're speaking, that means you're writing, you're offering. So what you speak, you're offering the next step. That's why I don't be negative. Because I know when I'm negative, I'm offering negative situations, negative processes. So I don't like to speak that way. That's why I'm always positive. That's why people tell me stuff, I'm looking to always orientate. Or because I know being a Black American or black man in America, who the scar I have right here comes from the cops kicking me in my face, and everybody like, why you messing with him? We mess with nobody. But they didn't care. They still kicked me in my face, split my face wide open, had to have stitches. I'm saying, so all this other stuff helped me understand when I'm walking with my people, I don't talk to my people to stay where they are. I talk to people because I want them to elevate. I understand that we must, in order for us to evolve, we must first get involved. So that's why I read. That's why I study. That's why I don't just want to be like, yo, what's going on, man? Yeah, man, yo, word up, son. Yeah, y'all mean, son. Word up, son. Yeah, that's why I don't want to talk to them. Because I want to be able to talk so it can be interchangeable around the world, so people can understand us, man, so that we can be able to raise a consciousness. Now, this is the thing. You know, they always say the greatest shift of wealth is happening. We've been saying this for years. It's going from those who have to those who have not. We're seeing that right now. We're seeing this shift before. We've been saying it as something we heard, but we watching it. But in TLC, when I came here, I started the first year out the gate. I called you. I have my posture. Hey, young lady, you know, this is what I do. I've been successful in network marketing for years, and I'm going to come here, and I want you to, and you're like, okay, great. I'm going to fly you out this weekend, and you want to come, like, yeah, fly me out, young lady, because, you know, I've been building teams around the world. I got teams in Iceland, all this other stuff. As soon as I got the phone with you, the way we get email for our company, I got an email that showed me what the check was that week. As soon as I got it, I was like, yo, Mom, I'm broke. I said, I gotta get started right now. You like, you sure? Because I said, no.
Yes, I remember
like,
that.
Now. I said, that's why by the time I came to the event, that I was still working, because remember, I was broke. I didn't have the money. I told you, I said, I don't have the money to join. You was like, okay, I'll tell you what, when you come, I'll put you in. You said, but this is the deal. I said, I'm gonna launch now. You said, great, we're gonna launch. So I did a pre-launch for an entire week. Nobody even joined, remember? I just was taking applications. I didn't even have applications. I was taking names on papers and ID numbers and credit card numbers and stuff. And I was numbering them. And I'm telling people, I'm about to join this young lady. We're going to be building big around the world. We're going to earn $1 million in income. She earned, at that time, you had just did like $1 million. You like, I did $1 million. I'm like, yo, she did 7 figures in 7 months. So I'm like, yo, I said, she did 7 figures in 7 months. I said, so she's a superstar. So everybody was like, I want to be in. So the thing is this. I hadn't built in the U.S. for so long. I didn't have nobody that knew me. So I was just talking on social media. People like, I'm telling people, I'm gonna help you. I was broke as hell, but it didn't matter because I still like this. I'm gonna help you because broke is a temporary status. Poor is a mindset. You can fix broke. So because I know I can fix broke, I didn't care about my status of being broke. You got me? So I was like, I'm gonna help you. First week I joined. When I finally put everybody in, when I got to your event, I was able to do executive director my first week. I was able to make $5,000 my first week, but let me tell you where the $5,000 came from. When you and I was about to launch, we was about to launch the business. And you said, I called you, like, hey, how's it looking today? I said, listen, I said, we're about to launch. I said, I just got a call. I said, because my son, who you know now, he's strung out on drugs now, so he has a drug addiction problem. But at the time, he was just getting started into that. But his girlfriend was locked up. So his mother and I was always taking care of the baby. I would go get my granddaughter and make sure everything was good. So they called me like 5 minutes right before the launch. And they told me, they said, hey, listen, his mother was like, come right now. You got to come. The cops are here. They're trying to take the baby. I'm like, what's going on? The other grandmother trying to take the baby. I'm like, I can't. I'm about to launch this business. I got to launch it. She's like, no, you can't. What type of man are you? You can launch this business. I need you right here. I said, listen. I said, because I've learned a long time ago that when I'm about to do something major, all hell breaks loose. And when it happens, because I recognize it, I see that that's what people hear that they'll say God is not a God of confusion, but soon they get confused, they stop. Well, I hear that. As soon as I get confused, I'm like, yeah, I hear you. I know what it is. So I said, listen, what are we gonna have to do? She said, well, we have to get an attorney. I said, how much is that gonna cost? It's gonna cost like $5,000. I said, I'm gonna get that money this week. I said, let me go to work so I can get that $5,000 this week for the attorney. And when I did that, we launched with you, and I didn't have a plan for $5,000. I just said that's what I needed, and I was able to get that. But let me help people break it down even more. After I joined, everybody quit. Nobody did nothing. I put all these people in, and nobody worked. And when nobody worked, I was like, now this is the deal. Nobody worked, and at first I was optimistic, but like everybody else, I'm like, man, damn, I got to do this again. I got to go through this process again, because I understand our business is not these products. Our business is people. So because I'm like, damn, I got to deal with the people again. I got to build the people up again. I got to go through these personalities again. All this other stuff that kind of was having me feeling some type of way. So for several months, I went to nothing. But this is the deal. Every time there was an event, you would see me. Remember that? You was in New York, but the deal is this. Every time I came to the event, I was sleeping in the car because I was broke. I didn't have the money for the hotel. But every time I saw you, I was.
Wow. I had no idea. Wow. I had no idea.
I would get dressed in the car. I would come out to the event. Hey guys, how you doing? Chanel Scott the First, all over the world. And every event that you travel to another city and state, I'm like, hey, how did you doing here? I'm like, I drove. But I would drive because I didn't want to spend the money on hotel room. I needed gas money to get you. Wherever you were at, I wanted to be there so I could take some notes. Wherever you were at, I wanted to be there. See, the thing is this, you've been providing, listen, you see the story? You've been providing note-taking materials for a lot of years. You see how this says we fight? You see how this is all scratched up and ripped up? See, it ain't a dainty destiny for me. You got me? It falls apart because I take notes, leaders take notes, study notes, implement. I'm reading and studying and going back through. See, the thing is this, you give me notebook upon notebook upon notebook. And when you give them, I'm like, listen, they there as a dainty thing. They're get the damn notebook. Then you get the damn notebooks and start to take notes in them. Stormy ain't giving you the books for you to flow, so you got to be opening your books, going through the notes, taking your notes, putting affirmations inside of it that remind you how great you are. Whatever you got to do, keep on going. But when I did all that stuff, I built the first year. I got it to where money started coming together. I made $100,000 my first year. Remember this, Damon had just joined. We went to the event. Me and Damon was on the stage. And you whispered in my ear because I had got the $50,000 check. And you was like, don't be discouraged. Because you know me and Damon, they want to have the $100,000 ring. He was like, hey, don't be discouraged. Your time is coming. I'm like,
oh my God.
I know, Queen.
I don't remember that. Was that in Atlanta?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Exactly. And I said, I appreciate you, girl. I got it. I still stood on the stage, my $50,000 check, my $50,000 ring. And the thing is this, that was the first year. Now, the end of the year, because the whole year I had a bad hip, so my hip was hurting so bad that every time I was showing up, I could barely walk. I wouldn't let nobody see that because I was walking around. When I would leave, I'm getting in the cars. I'm like, I'm driving, and so I get the car, trying to get myself together. I'm taking all this stuff to keep myself from walking like everything is all good. And then I had to have a hip replacement surgery in December. But just when I'm about to have the hip replacement surgery, my team that I have been building out the country, they quit. My leader quit. So my leader quit. That meant that going into that next year, I had to go in with just a few people I had left And even though I had the surgery in December, January, February, March, April, May, June, I couldn't really. You remember I was coming to different events on my. Remember that? On my cane, on my crutches.
Yes.
I was supposed to be coming, but I wanted to come around to whatever you guys was doing and stuff, man. And after about 6 or 8 months, I was able to move, and then finally, at the end of the year, they were saying that that Africa was going to launch. I was able to find somebody in Africa. I went to Africa, started building Africa for that year. After a year building Africa, customs challenges, traveling, all this other stuff. Every dime I made, I put back into building. People want to build international, but I made the money, but I spent it all into traveling, into helping people, doing. That's what I'm saying. I give everything for the people because I'm like, I just get them to believe, I get them to trust, I get them just to show that somebody is not just trying to take advantage, somebody trying to help us. And I would give everything that I have for that. And for me to do that, man, I built it for a whole year, and after a whole year, it fell apart.
Then your Africa team, I forgot about that, Jason.
Yep.
I forgot. You put a lot. What was the little country you was working with again?
I was going to South Africa. I was traveling about 7.
Was it Swaziland? It was one you kept going. What was it called?
I kept going to Namibia.
Namibia.
Yeah.
All the people quit for Namibia too.
Yeah, because remember, the customs
and Kazakhstan.
But that was 2 years later. The thing is this: when I was going to Africa and I was building, remember I was going to Africa during the time, and let me tell you how I knew it was trying to stop me. Because when I first started going, as soon as I said I'm going to Africa, I go to Africa, and when I get out there and stuff, man, I started building. As soon as I got out there, I was at a light, and somebody came in another car, smashed the back of the car. I'm in Africa, in another country. Remember this? Because I told you I was on the journey. And I said, Stormy, I said, listen, Stormy, I said, they got me in this thing. I said, they put me in the thing, took me to the ambulance. They asked me that I have money for my when
you get in a bad car accident.
For me to get my things done, my X-rays. And I'm like, yo, you're not gonna do nothing for me? I'm like, no. And I had just took all the money I had out the accounts I had in my pocket, so I paid it. And I called you like, yo, Stormy, I'm in Africa. I said I got here because Julio actually paid for me to go to Africa. Julio Lama was making sure I could get there. When I said I need to go to the place, Julio was like, I got you, Jason. So he sent me to Africa. And when I kept going back and forth, he sent me the first couple of times I started making money, I was going myself. When I used my money and they crashed the car, I had to use all the money I had to get myself out the hospital. I called you, I'm like, yo, Stormy. I said, I'm in Africa, and I said, I'm broke. You like, I'm gonna send you some money. I'm like, thank you. And you sent me some money and stuff so I can build, because I didn't have no money. I had everything that I had to build. And that's what happened. So I still, but then because when I first joined, you told me, you said, listen, I'm gonna put you in, but don't you embarrass me. I said, girl, I promise you I won't. I said, you don't know me. I said, but I'm very loyal. I said, I tell you I'm gonna do a thing. I said, I promise you, if the company is good, if the compensation is good, the plan is good, if the products are good, everything else is leadership. I said, I promise you. I said, now you don't know me. I'm a networker, so you think I'm gonna be like other, you think I'm gonna come and go. I said, but I'm gonna show you. I said, you're gonna see. I said, I will outlast them all. There were people who came, people who quit, people who came back. I had my ass right here. You got me? Because I made a promise to you that I was gonna be here. I made a promise to you that we were gonna build 1,000 families. So I can't break the promise because I made a damn promise. So that's why I be around. That's why I be showing up. That's why I'm quiet at times, because I'm still just observing. I'm an introverted person. I'm sitting back, watching. Sometimes I talk to people, but the people who know me, the ones in our circle who really know me, trust me. If you watch the comments, people know me. They know Jason L. Scott first.
Y'all know Jason L. Scott or not?
They know me. They know the kid. They know him about people. They don't know about love. A lot of people, who's your sponsor? Stormy. Oh, we got to meet me on Zoom. Who your sponsor? Stormy. Okay, I got you. And I've been doing that for years. Who your sponsor? Stormy. Okay, beat me. I got you. There's a lot of people. A lot of them, I promise you, for years behind the scenes, I've been building 1,000 families. Even when you were like, you're not in alignment. I'm like, I am. I said, just you're not thinking. I said, I am. He's like, well, I need you to be in alignment. No, you didn't say you're not. You said, I need you to be in alignment. I'm like, I am. I'm doing the best. I'm like, I am, because of how I love. My love is alignment. When I love what I do, it's different. I'm always that. But when people don't recognize it, they just don't get it. But I show you through how I show up by myself. Nobody's there. Don't care who says what. Don't care who talks to me. I don't care. I keep showing up.
Yes.
Because I told you that I would. And it means everything to me to make sure that I take care of people. So I've had that happen here. I built Kazakhstan, that fell away. I built Mongolia, that fell away. I built all the international organizations. And then at the first of the year, I was right back again, starting all over again. I'm grateful for Julio. He was able, every place I went, I'm gonna make sure you go. Make you go here. John Lecari and Jack at the company, okay, Jason, we'll help you over here. And it wasn't for the fact that, because they knew I was getting busy. Listen, I tell people, if I can make $500,000 US, and all these other countries, going to a country where they have to have a translator, and there's 3 languages in the damn room when I'm talking, and I still can build it. Watch what I do in the U.S. And that's what I told you. When you logged in, when you said, Jason, what's your passport? Log in the passport. You was like, yo, I didn't know you was hurting like that. How you survive? And I said, I got a plan. Because I knew that I was going to build the US.
So let me ask you this. So just let me say this. You said a lot. I'm not a very emotional person these days because I just, but you said so much that I couldn't even hold back my emotion. You said so much things that I didn't even know about you. And I think the beauty of this platform is that when we get on this platform, especially when I turn the comments off, it just feels like you're able to release and share and talk and be transparent. And I experienced that yesterday with Diana. I feel like I know her even more. And now I feel like I know you even more. And I understand you more now than ever. I never knew these things that you shared with us today. And so I just want to tell you, just your transparency and your truth has set me free. Because I too was trying to understand you and try to figure out why is he so standoffish? Why he won't disappear. He always shows up. And now to know why you are the way you are, like I always say to myself, never ask a question why I make the decision that I make until you understand the origin of my decisions. Everybody has an origin, and their decisions is formulated from some type of experience or something that they know in their soul. And so understanding from holding your heart to the promise you made to your mom, like we got so much in common, I had no idea. To your brother, I had no idea. All I knew about was your son. I didn't even know your mom passed away. I don't remember knowing that part of your story. And just to know that you kept fighting, Jason. I forgot about Africa. I forgot about the car accident. I forgot about Kazakhstan and Mongolia. And I remember, though. I remember every time we were having events. It may have not been at the start of the event, but we would look up and you would always be there, never with a sense of entitlement, never with any expectation. But I could tell that you came for whatever you was needed for, you was willing to give. But you also came in the environment to give, but also to receive. And now I promise you, I just hope that whoever's listening understands we all have tests that we have to go through. And we heard this before, your test becomes your testimony. But at the end of the day, if your test is to be your testimony, that means you got to go through, Because until you get on the other side, nobody really wants to hear what you're talking about. Right. Jason, I remember, I don't know how many months ago that was, but I looked at your check. And I had fell asleep. See, everybody think I'm perfect and I got it all together, and I don't. I'm a human being just like everybody else. I have shortcomings. I have imperfections. I have days I want to quit. I have things that I deal with. But like you, I dust myself off and try again. And I don't know what it was. I don't know what was going on. But I looked at your check and it broke my heart. And I felt like I had failed you. And I felt like I owed it to you all to go back to work, because though I was making 40, 50,000 a week on retirement, that wasn't y'all truth. And I remember I called you and I said, how are you surviving? And you didn't cry. You didn't have the woe is me story. You were still just so optimistic. And so just like knowing that I'm going to be all right. And so to see you right now, some people get legs of business. Like I built both my legs. You built both your legs. So, hey. But to see the surgery, the pain, the hurt that you've been through, and to know that it was just, you really went global. The process took maybe 4 years, but you did it in 4 months. Mm-hmm. And so just to know that You did it, man. And to know that if you could do it with all what you've been through, man, I hope that the person watching this becomes more inspired more than ever, because I think sometimes I get even more credit than I deserve. I think I get more credit. I don't build nobody's business. I'm a supporter. I lead, listen, look, and I learn. That's it. Look, listen, learn, lead, and lead. Some people get a little bit more, communication from me because of various different reasons. But to see what you did without being babysat, without having your hand held, it's just unbelievable. And words can't even express how grateful I am to be who I am and to be able to attract, because that's all I did. You said I was calling you to be able to, whatever it was and is about me that consistently attracts these amazing humans that's having, I believe that we're all souls and spirits having a human experience. We're just having our human experience in our spirits. That's what we are, spiritual beings having a human experience. And so for my soul to attract your soul, and whoever's on this live, just know that you are here for a reason. It's not a mistake or chance that you ended on this live today and you're aligned with humans such as ourselves, conscious, woke individuals that don't know how to quit. And so I got to ask you a question. The word pain, when you hear that word pain, like, what does that word pain really mean to you? What do you do with pain? What do you do with it?
Well, and that's a great question. And I say that because years ago, remember when I said earlier, I was doing this years ago, and I remember speaking on the stage, and I was telling people our team. I said our team it's still on YouTube today. I said our team is different because we connect to the pain. Because people want to know how my team was growing. I'm like, because I said I've learned to connect to the pain. I said, and once I know, because once I know the pain, I'm like, share it with me. And once you share it with me, and I know what it is, everything from that point. Because for me, I learned this a long time ago. One thing about the pain, once I learned how to shift it inside my mindset, because I've been through so many times, I learned to empathize, not to sympathize. See, the reason why when people give me their pain, I want it so I can know so I can think for them to help them shift. So when you're in pain, you can't think a lot of times. You're trying to figure out how to get it to stop. And because of my going through it so many times, I know how to get it to stop because I've been through it so many different times in so many scenarios. So when people start talking about pain, I understand when you have sympathy means to suffer. When you sympathize with somebody, you suffer with them. And I don't want to suffer with you, and I don't want to suffer for you, because you'll need my suffering. You need. That's why I'm optimistic. So when people give me pain, I'm like, I got it. I'm saying, and then I'll reorientate it to give them another way of, because again, lots of times it's not as painful as you think. You've had conversations. People tell you, Stormy, they'll be crying and painful. You say one thing, they go, huh, because it's not as bad as they thought. It was something, as soon as you reorientate it, for them to see it and see it differently. So I learned that pain can be reoriented. You can learn to use it for a purpose. People hear that. But it's not just the hearing of it, it's how you live it. How you understand that pain that I went through for my mother, pain hearing about my brother, pain of all that, I let that to be a repurpose for my life. So when I hear pain, I'm like, that's when people tell me I'm going through something, like, a lot of times you see me like this. Because I'm like, because I study people, I ask questions, because they say the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you're going to ask. So I ask questions, and everybody's answer is self-talk, is languaging. How they answer you is how they speak to themselves. And I can hear in how they speak their self-imposed limitations. So when they're talking,
wait. I want you to slow down, because that was a big one right there. Mm-hmm. Say that one more time, but say it a little slower.
I got you. I said, when people are speaking, every time we're speaking, when you're speaking to self or speaking to other people, of course, it's languaging. So when somebody's speaking to you, they're speaking to you in their self-talk, the languaging that they normally talk to themselves in their head. And when they're talking to me, I'm like this. So I know, that's what I said, I may not talk a lot, but I'm always hearing the languaging. Because there's a language in everything. There's a language in business, language in real estate, language in, everything has a language. But also, everything has a drift. Carl Jung calls it the underlying consciousness that beneath society. So there's a drift that people go in. And normally in their consciousness, they're just in a drift. I listen to the conversation so I can start to say things, because I learned that in psychology, there's something called a scotoma. Scotoma is a blind spot. Things happening all around you until something or somebody makes it apparent, you don't pay attention to it. But as soon as somebody tells you, you say, baby, where the keys? Right? Where the keys? right there. They walk up and go, you're like, it was right there the whole time. But sometimes you turn it off, or you say, I'm going to drive this brand new car. As soon as you drive off the lot, you see it everywhere. You never saw it before until it became apparent. So because I understand that, when I'm talking to people, I'm asking questions, because the reason why I can do more with less, because I have a small group. With the small group, I'm hearing how they have self-talk. You remember, I had 3 days with my people when I had to call in. I had 3 days so I could listen to their talk, so I can reorient it, because I had to have a group that I can do what I'm doing with today. That's why when you called me in January, and it was after like February, like right after the event. And you called me, you was like, what's your login and password? And I was with Nikki Alexandria. And I told her, I'm like, yo, Stormy never asked me. I'm like, why would she ask me on the lowest week of the lowest thing? But I knew it was purpose. Because now that I knew you knew, you was like, Jason, how you survive? And I'm like, I got a plan. Because I already initiated because I know I'm 90 days away from the decision I make today. Not saying it, going to work.
Let me ask you this quick question though. Let me ask you this quick question. When I called you, like most people, let me just be honest with you. Like right now, I made up in my mind. I said I'm gonna call my person in roles, right? I'm just gonna, and I got 5,000 of them, so it's like hard to do this. Right. But when I called them, they don't want to talk about where they're going. They want to talk about where they've been. Mm-hmm. That day I called you, you could have cried and complained and gave me a victim score. You could have told me every reason why your check, and I believe it was $600. I believe it was like $600.
It was actually $300 and stuff, man.
How much?
It was $300.
How long ago was this, Jason?
That was about a little over 90, close about 60 something days ago, 67, 80 days ago. Because I just started my 90-day run or whatever when you logged in there, and that's why I was like, I got a plan. Because I said my plan is gonna be, I was gonna be global director. I said, no, nobody got to believe. I said, but I told you, I said, all I asked you to say to me is, you believe me. I said, you believe me. I said, you believe in me. Do you? That's why I always ask you. I don't ask you for much. I would say, what you got for me, Stormy? I'm good. I'm like, you believe in me? You're like, yeah, that's all I need.
But hold on, I need us to understand this. You could have used that day as your upline, who you knew at the time I was making like, no, this was 90 days ago.
Mm-hmm. It's like a little less than 90 days. It's about, but now 90 days. I did this for 4 months. It's like 90 days ago.
So I was at 6 figures a week. You could have chose that day to ask me to build your leg. You could have chose that day to tell me about your surgery and your son who was in and out and is still in and out of the rehab. But you didn't. You really just asked me to believe in you that day. That's really what you said. You wanted to align with me and you wanted me to believe, and you were so optimistic at $300. Mm-hmm. Why were you in that state? Why? What did you do to yourself to get you to be in that place? Because other people it's 999 people. My favorite number. The number where God judges you according to your will. The number 999. The number of completion now. That means you're judged according, and that's what the number is right here. What was it that made you be so optimistic when you could have been a victim that day?
And it is because, like I said, man, Stormy, I have been through this so many times in my life, and I've learned that when it comes to that pain, for instance, when I had my hip replacement surgery, I knew that it was going to be painful, and every day I kept saying, but I knew that one day I was going to wake up and the pain wasn't going to be there. But it was more pain to not do it. It was more. I had been already in pain for like 4 years. So I was like, when people like, when you had that surgery, you're going to be in pain. But I kept thinking, but one day I'm going to wake up and it's not going to be there. Wow. So every day I kept waking up, I was like, this ain't the day. Wow. Every day I was like, oh my God, this ain't the day. But I kept thinking, but then one day I woke up. And so because I know it, I know that once you go to work, one day the pain's not going to be there. So I'm optimistic because I know on the other side of the pain is purpose and pleasure. So I know, because I allow myself, because faith is knowing. People say they have knowing. They say they have faith, but faith is knowing. And this is the key thing. That's why I tell people, this is why I do it honestly, Stormy. This is real, no talk, no lie. I tell you things with quotes that I live with. When people say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It ain't just words to me. And it's not just what you think. See, people hear it, they go, like when I say somebody, as a man thinketh, they go, so is he. I'm like, no, it ain't just that. It's as you think in your heart. That's why we're going through challenges. You don't say you broke my head, you say you broke my heart. So if the law of attraction is what you think, but the law of attraction is superseded by the law of vibration, the energy, the feelings that you have. So therefore,
That's right. Come on.
I exist in a feeling that I want to have. That's why. That's why I see. There's a movie called The Avengers. Let me tell you this. In The Avengers, this one that came out. There's a point when they were trying to wonder why the Hulk was not hulking out all the time. Because we always know it. Don't get him mad. He's gonna hulk out. But at the end, there was a place when he was like, Dr. Banner, don't you think it's a good time for you to get angry? He's like, that's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry. And he was angry because he's learned to control that, so when he needs it, he can turn it on. So the thing is, I'm always peaceful. I'm always in that state. No matter what's going on, I do my best. That's why my alarm clock goes up at 11 a.m., it goes at 3 p.m., it goes up at 11 p.m., and it says happy and grateful. So I can remind myself to self-check. Because I know that when I find myself like this, my subconscious, I'm thinking about something, and when that alarm goes off, I remember. It's like checking my pulse. I remember to self-check myself. That's why I do it. So I wake up early and got a bad day. When the alarm goes off, it reminds me, happy and grateful now. 3 o'clock, happy and grateful now. 11 p.m., happy and grateful now. I be doing a call and it start going off. I be, hold on a second, guys. And I got to be happy and grateful now. That's why. And we're not finished yet, Stormy. We got so many lives to change, girl. We got so many people who need us. So many people to know that we are about the people for real. I'm about the consciousness and awakening of my people. And people need dramatic examples to shake them out of apathy. I choose to become an example for my people. You choose to become an example. 1,000 families has chosen to become an example for the people. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I was going to tell you to close us out. But with that being said, everything you said, close us out. I just want to say, man, I'm grateful that you came on today, and I didn't even have to coerce you or push you into being authentic and to being just who you are at your core. And I just pray that somebody heard what you said but felt what you said, because again, you said more than what you said. It was what was felt from your words. Your passion is, as we talk about our core commitments, passion is our fuel. You definitely are passionate. I'm proud. I'm proud to know that I was able to attract such a king as yourself, man. Like, for real, I never addressed you as that, but you definitely are a king and a champion in my eyes. You really are. And I'm so proud to be called your sponsor, man. And I hope that everybody that's on the live today knows that if he could do it, that I could do it, then guess what? We all can do it. Let's take us a shot. You know we got to take us a shot. Hold on. Let me get our NutriBurst. Hold on. Let me get our music. I don't have my Bluetooth hooked up. I'm a little bootleg today, but let's get our vibes right. Let me get us a shot of NutriBurst. Come on, y'all. Y'all know how we do it, baby. Mm-hmm. NutriBurst, baby.
Yeah, baby. You got it right here.
Y'all just heard Jason. Type your name so I can pin it. Type your name. Let me pin it. Y'all just heard from Brand New Global, Jason L. Scott. Ooh, wake the savage up, baby. Listen, y'all need to get every black man, every Latino man, every white man, any man to follow Jason L. Scott. As a matter of fact, he's going to pin his name right here. I'm going to pin it. He's going to post his name and I'm going to pin it. Hold on, y'all. Amazing, Jason. Well done. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, man. Awesome. Bye, Jason. See you later.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Awesome. Wow. Man, let me tell y'all something. We have some of the most amazing people in TLC. And, I mean, we got some of the most amazing people in TLC. If you're not a part of TLC, and I'm talking about, I don't care if you got an IBO number. If TLC not in your heart, if your heart didn't connect with his heart, first of all, when you see a grown man cry, it's something when a grown man don't cry. But I felt the tears of gratitude. I felt the tears of joy. I felt like just because he was willing to be transparent and open it to us today, I feel like a whole nother level, a whole nother realm of blessings and abundance and prosperity and joy and happiness and peace is going to come his way. And so I want y'all to get everybody to watch this live. This live should be one of the most viewed lives. We brought Diana on yesterday. Our live was crazy, but today was a different type of live because you don't hear men be that transparent. You don't hear men bare their heart like that. And so I want y'all to get all y'all men to watch none other than Brand New Global, Jason L. Scott the first. His story will inspire nations. So let's make sure his story goes viral. All right, y'all. Peace out. Who got next, man? Who next? Who next?